Hello and welcome to this edition of Minstrels on the Block, where we bring you the finest singer-songwriters in the Valley area. Today's special guest is Mr. Joe Yeoman. Joe.
How y'all doing? Nice to meet you,
Glad to have you on the show. Appreciate you coming in. Now,
Thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where were you born?
I was born in a small town called Orchard Hill, just south of Griffin, Georgia, actually. Born down there about 32 years ago. So.
What's it like up there?
It's just farmland.
Nice.
I mean, it's kind of out in the hills and that sort of thing. So it's a nice place to grow up.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What'd your parents do?
My dad was a auto mechanic, and my mom, for the most part, was a stay-at-home mom, which was kind of cool. So, and I got to work in my dad's shop and all that kind of stuff. So
Cool.
So it was kind of cool.
So if you need an engine rebuilt.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, were your parents musical at all?
Yeah, my dad actually played guitar from, I think, the time he was like 16 or something like that. And I actually learned how to play from him. And my mom would always sing. And for a while, when I was a young kid, they would go around and do like gospel revivals and that kind of thing, just kind of going around and singing and that sort of thing. So that's kind of where I guess I kind of picked it up from. So
I guess it's pretty safe to assume that they supported your desire.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a little while to kind of get into swing of things. Like I didn't really start singing until later. I just kind of focused on playing guitar.
Right.
I got my first guitar when I was 10. Learned to play it when I was, probably around 12 or 13 or so. That's not a good time to start trying to sing. Voices are changing. It just doesn't work out so well. So. Yeah. I put that off for a little while until I knew my voice was going to stay the same.
Alfalfa from the Little Rascals.
Exactly. Awesome. It's not pretty.
Now, tell me about some of the music you listened to when you were growing up. What were some of your influences?
I mean, when I was growing up, Dad was a big old country kind of guy. As a matter of fact, the first song I ever learned to play was "You're a Cheating Heart" by Hank Williams Sr.
Yeah.
Obviously when you're my age at that point, I really didn't care to play that kind of stuff, but that's what I learned how to play. But for me, I loved Garth Brooks and Travis Tritt, the Eagles, Leonard Skinner. I mean, I was kind of all over the place with what I liked, but what was current at the time was mainly Garth Brooks. I mean, it's just, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing a Garth Brooks song. And
the thunder rolls.
Exactly.
Now, at what point did it click for you that I want to play music?
It was probably not very long after I actually learned to play. I was probably around 14 or 15 when I was like, this could be something I would be really interested in doing. You never know how it's going to pan out as far as if you're going to be able to support your family and that sort of thing on it. But, it's just, that's when the fire started. It's the best way to put it.
Now, what inspires you to write?
To be honest with you, it's a bunch of different things. I can be listening to the radio, listening to something that someone else has played, and either a couple of lines in it or a phrase or something like that will pop into my head, and it'll be like, hey, that could make another song.
Yeah.
And then just kind of go from there. For me, it really just when the mood strikes me. And I go through dry spells where I don't write anything, and I hate those times. But yeah, I mean, it can be any number of things. I mean, it could be something you've seen, something you've been through, something that you know from someone else's experiences.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff I write, I try to write from a third-person point of view, and that sort of thing. So it's any number of things.
Now, what do you reckon is the subject that you write about the most?
Honestly, probably just about having a good time, just growing up kind of country, which fortunately for me is kind of what's current in country music now. Is it's all about trucks and drinking beer and meeting girls and tailgating. Exactly. So I mean that's that's kind of the stuff that it's fun to me to write. For me, I don't necessarily like getting entirely too serious with stuff because. Unfortunately, if you're trying to go mainstream, that doesn't really play out so well. So I just like to have stuff that's kind of fun, kind of gets you in a groove.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Now, from the time that the fire got started and you started writing songs and you decided, this is what I like to do. what keeps you doing it? What made you decide to keep going with it?
To be honest with you, I kind of took a break from it for a little while. I probably when I was about 19, I got married very young to my first wife, and you know, it became all about taking care of the family and doing that kind of thing. So all that kind of got laid around, you know, just got pushed to the back burner, so to speak. And you know, it probably wasn't until I was about 25 I was like, you know, I really want to do this, and just start doing it. So then I just started picking up on it, started writing more, and all of that kind of stuff. So from that point, that's really when it really sparked with me, and I really started taking singing seriously, as of all things, at a karaoke show. It's like,
that's a good place to start.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I got up there, I started singing. I'm like, you know, I'm not too bad. We'll try this, and you know, so I just went from there, and it's just, you know, just been a steady push ever since then. So
now, a couple of things. One is we have the most important question of the show approaching rapidly. But tell me about your first experience in playing out in front of people. Because everybody who writes music is going to have to do this at some point.
Yeah, and it was horrifying, to be honest with you. The first time I played out, I think I was 15 years old, and it was me, my dad, my younger brother, who also played guitar, and we were just at this, it's a place called the Music Barn. It's over in Hollandville, Georgia. It's just a little speck on the map.
Nice.
And every Saturday night, they would just get together, and there would just be a bunch of groups of people just out picking and grinning, basically.
Nice.
I got up there, and you know, we did a couple songs, and just terrified because I had to sing backup to Mom, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm like 15, voices all cracking. And, yeah, I mean, it was horrifying. There was no other way to put it.
So how long did it take you to get into the groove of, I can do this?
Once I decided that that's what I wanted to do, and I'd gotten enough feedback to saying, hey, you don't suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what you're worried about the most, and you don't, you know, the people that are close to you, you kind of want to not necessarily believe what they say, because, oh, they're just being nice.
Never listen to your family.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've seen it on American Idol and that sort of thing, where they're just encouraging the worst singers ever.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be that guy. You know, but once I got it in my head that, hey, you know, I'm not they're actually kind of telling the truth. So then from that point, you just, you know, you kind of got to go all in on it. Yeah. And
now, the most important question of the show before we go to a break, one of your songs. Yeah, this is for many people an earth-rocking question. Elvis or the Beatles?
Elvis.
Elvis. We don't get a lot of those, but we do get a few. Elaborate on that.
I think Elvis just had an air about him, and not that the Beatles didn't. It's just, for me personally, Elvis was kind of, he was I guess he was in multiple genres of music. I mean, he had country songs, he had rock songs, he had gospel songs. You know, he could do R&B if he wanted to. And for me, that really resonated with me, because he was very adaptable, and he had a variety of different kinds of songs. And if you go back and listen, there's different stages of his type of music, and you know, for me, that's just kind of what it works for. And I like the Beatles stuff too, but I prefer Elvis Presley.
Well, you're not wrong. There's no wrong answer to that question, and you've made some very good points. Tell you what, let's check out some of Joe's music, and we'll be right back after this.
Hey y'all, my name's Joe Yeoman. The name of this song is What Gets Me. Hopefully you guys will like it. Lately I don't get much sleep at night. That baby of mine lies rocky to the morning light. Lord knows I can't get enough, but she's a rocking and a popping, shaking and stuff. That girl got a hold on me. She's got what gets me. Well, you should see him start panting when she walks through the door. Then hear the sound of the jaws as they hit the floor. Yeah,
like me that can't get enough. She's a rockin' and a poppin', shaking the stuff. That girl got a hold on me. She's got what gets me. What gets me is her out on the dance floor, screaming, baby, baby, doll, give me some more. Yeah, she's working that thing like a midnight train to Memphis. Can't you see that baby of mine got what gets me? She's got a look that burns straight to your soul. When she kisses me, man, I just lose control. Well, I used to think that I was tough, but then she started rocking, shaking the stuff. That girl took control over me. She's got what gets me. What gets me is her out on the dance floor, screaming, baby, baby, doll, give me some more. Yeah, she's working that thing like a midnight train to Memphis. Can't you see that baby of mine got what gets me? What gets me is her out on the dance floor, screaming, baby, baby, doll, give me some more. Yeah, she's working that thing like a midnight train to Memphis. Can't you see that baby of mine got what gets me? That baby of mine's got, I said that baby of mine, Lord, she's got, that baby of mine's got what gets me.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Minstrels on the Block. Special guest, Mr. Joe Yeoman. So Joe, this is the part where we're talking a little bit more about current stuff, maybe leading up to now, and what do you got going on right now?
Right now, I'm basically a front man for Joe Yeoman and the Dead Shots. And that's a band that I put together probably almost about a year ago. And it's more a rock and country, a little bit of southern rock kind of stuff. I mean, pretty much we do whatever anybody wants to hear, but
right,
you know, for the most part, you know, I can't do anything but sound country, so that's that's kind of what I have to stick to.
Yeah.
You know, but I've got that going on. You know, we're currently trying to book all over, pretty much all over Georgia, and Alabama as well, and just kind of working on that. We're looking to try to go down to the Panhandle of Florida and hit up Panama City and all that, during spring break and summer and that sort of stuff. It's good exposure and all that, and it's just a fun atmosphere. So with the type of music that we play, I think it would go over real well there. So hopefully we'll get to do that this year.
Cool.
Coming up. So.
And tell me a little bit about how you put this band together. Like, where do people come from? Did you know them beforehand?
No, actually, I didn't know any of these guys whenever I started putting it all together. And as a matter of fact, the first person I found is my lead guitar player, who's Levi Newton. And I talked to him on the phone. I think I'd put an ad out on Craigslist or something looking for, I think that's what everybody does at some point, if they don't know anybody.
Right.
And he came over and I met the guy and he looked like he was 12. I mean, and I was like, what in the world? And to be honest with you, he was 17 at the time. And so he came in and we jammed and we kind of went over some stuff. And, you know, we got to talking to him and he'd only been playing guitar for, at that time, only about a year and a half, 2 years or something like that. Phenomenal guitar player. You know, and I've told him this before too. It's like, you know, that's the only reason why I kept you around, because you were so good. It's like I could get over the fact that you were only 17.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have a clue how I was going to get him into some of the venues that we play, because you know, you got to be either 18 or 21 to try to get in there. So that was interesting working around that.
Yeah.
But we met him, and he's got, I mean, he loves Jimi Hendrix and Zeppelin and all these different types of music, and I think that really helps fill in the sound.
Yeah.
And you know, and then we'd gotten together with a bass player. Our bass player's name is Chase Callahan, and he had recently graduated from Atlanta Institute of Music with a degree in music theory and all that kind of stuff. So real jam-up guy, great bass player. I couldn't have asked for a better thing there. And you know, we had a drummer, and he has since left the band to go pursue other things, and that happens. You know, so currently we're trying out and auditioning other drummers now, because we've actually got some gigs coming up soon, so we gotta get on the ball. So, but I think we found a guy that's going to work out really well. It's just get in there with him and do that. And
very cool.
So,
now tell me a little bit about. Like, this might be pertinent for some bands out there watching the show. How did you work around the 17-year-old and the?
I mean, the best thing you can do, at least from my experience, is just be straightforward with the venue. You know, if they know what's going on beforehand, they can kind of go along with it. I mean, because you've got labor laws, and you've got liquor laws, and you've got all these other different things that kind of play into it. And ultimately, it's kind of up to the venue owner as if he's willing to kind of go along with that. You know, and it has been, you know, where we've gotten to a place and like we didn't realize he was quite that young. And I'm like, well, you know, put an armband on him, you know, do whatever and that sort of thing. So we kind of had to work around that. There's only been one instance where they just would not let him play. So luckily I got on the phone and called up another guitar player real quick.
Which is handy to be able to do.
Exactly. Luckily enough, I got him over there pretty quick, and you know, we were able to do the show.
Very cool.
You know, but now that he's 18, I mean, you've got a little bit more wiggle room when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But it's still up to the venue. You know, if they just don't want 18-year-olds in there, there's nothing I can say to them or anybody else that's going to change their mind. You know, and that's their business. If that's the way they want to run it, then that's perfectly fine with me.
Yeah.
But just be upfront with them if you've got that sort of thing. Otherwise, you just kind of got to stick to fairs and festivals and you know, that kind of stuff. So private parties.
Now, in your sets that you play, another thing that would be very pertinent to some musician friends out there, how do you mix up, like when you play a show? How do you have it as far as how many originals as opposed to how many covers?
As of right now, I mean, you know, for us doing, you know, a typical about a 3.5 hour show, you know, I usually put about 3 original songs in it, and the reason is because most of the places that we play at it's very popular for cover bands and that sort of thing. There's not a big, you know, original music kind of venues to try to get into. So, and that being said, you know, and it takes a little while for the band to kind of figure out how they want to make the song sound, and you know, get my vision into it and that sort of thing. So that's one thing, you know. But for us, we try to keep it up tempo. So it's, you know, we try to put on a rocking show, no matter what we're doing. We don't play a whole lot of slow songs. Matter of fact, most of the time we just wait until they request one. Just go with it for that.
There you go.
You know, and it all depends on the crowd. You know, different folks have you know, do different things. So.
Now, do you do all of the writing for the band?
I do currently. You know, the drummer that we're probably going to end up using and you know, inviting to be part of the band. He writes as well, so I'm sure at that point there'll be some collaborative kind of stuff, which I'm looking forward to be honest with you. You know, it's nice to hear other people's perspectives on things and all of that. So, but currently everything that we do that's original is all stuff that I've written.
Now, do you have a CD or do you have ideas of making one?
Right now, to be honest with you, I'm putting together a group of songs that I think would go well on a CD and kind of flow into each other and have a general theme. That being said, you know, once we finally get the rest of our pieces of the band all together, then we can all sit down and everybody can know their parts, and then we can go in and record stuff. I've heard this from a lot of different folks, is just to make sure that you know the material before you go in there and try to record. It saves you money. It saves the engineer time, and all that kind of stuff. And you don't want to take off the engineer.
No, you don't want to.
No, that doesn't work out so well.
Now, two more questions. One is, let's just say you're walking around the house on a Sunday afternoon, you know, cold drink in your hand or whatever. What are you most likely to be listening to on your 8-track, cassette, CD, iPod, or computer? Or record?
More than likely, I'd be listening to something by Eric Church. You know, I love his style. I love his style of songwriting. I love his style of playing. You know, he's very gritty. You know, if I'm not listening to him, to be honest, it's probably even Waylon Jennings or something. I mean, I can go old school too. You know, I like a bunch of different stuff, but if you were to look in my truck right now, there's 6 CDs in there, and probably 4 of them are Eric Church CDs, and the other ones are Jason Aldean and maybe Merle Haggard or something like that. So that's what I'd be listening to. Very
cool. Now, before we go to break, where would you like to see the band go? What is your ultimate goal? 5 years, 20 years?
5 years, I would love to see us very popular in the regional area, at least in the Southeast. You know, being realistic that the music business is a hard cookie to crack. You know, so the thing is that the tighter the band that you get together, the better songs that you put out, the better fan base that you get is going to help you, at least from what I know and what I've heard, to get you to that next level. You know, one of the best bands out there is probably Zac Brown, at least in country music it is. And he played the circuit for probably 10 or 15 years before he finally got the stuff together and other people started noticing what he was doing. And I mean, he was great the whole time, but you know, for whatever reason, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. You know, ultimately that's what I would like to see happen. 20 years from now, I'd love to be, you know, like Garth Brooks, out in Vegas somewhere, putting on a show every night and that sort of thing, you know. But,
awesome. Good goals. Good goals.
Can I aim high?
Let's take a look at one of Joe's songs. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, I'm Joe Yeoman. Name of this song is From Now On. All my life I've been wondering when my someone special would come along. And all this time I've been thinking that I was destined to be alone. When you found me, show me the way, and I knew that you were here to stay. From now on, I need you by my side. From now on to the end of time, right here with me is is where you belong from now on. Nothing in this world comes easy. It gets harder all the time. And nothing in this world is as pleasing as the look I get from your eyes when they tell me everything's alright and that you will forever be mine from now on. Need you by my side from now on to the end of time. Right here with me is where you belong from now on. Yeah, right here with me is where you belong from now on. Right here with me is where you belong from now
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Minstrels on the Block. Special guest Joe Yeoman. So Joe, this is the part of the show where we like to pimp stuff. This is the pimping part of the show, otherwise known as promotion for those of you who are too old school to know what pimping is or whatever. But so what do you have that you want everybody out there, all four of them, to know about?
Right now, currently, I only have one single out that's on iTunes. The name of that song is What Gets Me. I played it a little bit earlier, and so I think that's one. You can go on there, you can find it. You can just Google Joe Yeoman, and you can find it there. You can also go to my website at www.joeyeoman.com. You can go there, you can find it there, and also hear some of the other songs that I have that I haven't. They're not completely finished yet, so you know, and that sort of thing. You know, we're on Facebook, so any fans that we get there is always nice.
And what is your Facebook account?
It is facebook.com/Joe Yeoman Band. So you can find it there as well. If you just go to the website, there's links to Twitter and Facebook and Reverb Nation and all these different places where you can go and try to centralize it so it makes it easier for people to find us, especially with my last name, because nobody knows how to spell it.
Now, a couple of questions I like to ask. What do you think, now your local music scene is a little different from ours since you're a little farther out, but given what you've seen in the area, in the region, what do you think of the local music scene?
I mean, I know from down here in the Columbus, Phoenix City area, there's a lot of great venues for people to try out their songs and for them to, you know, get their stuff out there and to kind of be heard. You know, most of the places we play up in the Noonan, Georgia area, there's a couple of bars there that, you know, that really shine on some of the original music, and you know, and that's a great thing. The Alamo being one of them, which is a really cool place because it's an old It used to be an old movie theater, and they converted it into it's got great acoustics in there. The atmosphere is great. The staff is great. It's one of my favorite places to play. You know, and they really like doing that. There's always somebody playing an acoustic show on like Wednesday nights and that sort of thing. And then there's bands on the weekends, and which is a really cool thing to have. And I'm sure you guys have that in a lot of different places down here as well.
We have quite a few places. We have a lot of open mics for people to get up.
And that's the perfect place to try out new songs. It doesn't necessarily work for a band setting, you know. But then again, you never know if you've got a good song on your hands until somebody else is, you know, screaming about it whenever you get to play it. So that's always cool.
Yeah, I've heard that happens. Now, what would you like to see? How do you think the scene can be improved?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I mean, it could always do a little bit better. And this from musician friends that I have, and what I've noticed from them is that, you know, everybody's always complaining about pay. Everybody's always complaining about, oh, we don't get paid enough for this and that. And you know, the going rate is the same as it was 10 or 15 years ago. And, you know, and all that's true. And, you know, it's really difficult to find great venues that have a built-in crowd.
Yeah.
And then you've got other venues where they expect you to bring the crowd.
Right.
And that's a double-edged sword sometimes, mainly because if you're just starting out or you're trying to get your name out there, obviously you're not going to be able to bring a whole lot of people.
Right.
So that affects a little bit of, you know, how well it is. And again, it all depends on the venues and that sort of thing, because they're, at the end of the day, they're looking to make money too.
Yeah.
You know, if they're not making money, we don't have a place to play.
Right.
So, and that's one of the things that's there. And that's the complaint that I get from a lot of, you know, the musician friends that I have and that sort of thing. I guess the main thing is just find your niche. You know, I know there's places where, you know, alternative music is a good thing, and then there's other places where country is kind of their big thing, or metal, or any of these other different kind of genres, R&B and that sort of thing. You know, I think the important thing is just make sure you have an outlet for each one of those types of music. You know, not everybody wants to go listen to country every night, or metal, or R&B, or whatever. So it's important to have different venues where you can do that and kind of, you know, find your place, so to speak.
And for all the people sitting out there who might be aspiring artists, and this is a music show, so, you know, I say aspiring singer-songwriters, whatever, but this goes for artists, you know, whatever somebody might do. What advice would you give to an aspiring artist sitting out there watching the show?
The main thing I could tell them is to invest in their craft, whatever it is, whether it's music, whether it's sculpture or painting or whatever it is. You know, put the most amount of energy that you can into that. You know, I know you've heard it said before, you only get what you put in.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to make it big if you just kind of, you know, go at it halfway.
Right.
And you know, and I know with economy stuff and all that, that makes it difficult, and family life and all of those kind of things really changes things. You know, but you just got to go for it. I mean, you got to leave it all out there. When you get on the stage, leave it on the stage. It's like, get out there. That way, at the end of the night, there's nothing that they can say that, oh, well, he just kind of halfway did it.
Right.
Leave it all on the stage. You know, just act like each performance or each painting you do or each sculpture you do, whatever your thing is, do it like that's the last one you get to do. Yeah. For me, that's I think that's the most important thing that you can do.
Right. So. Well, Joe, I appreciate you being on the show.
I'm glad you guys had me out.
Oh, thank you for being here. Hope you've enjoyed this edition of Minstrels on the Block. Special guest Joe Yeoman. Hope to see you next time. I'm your host, Brian Mallard. You can find me on Facebook, only on CTV EA.
Hey, y'all, I'm Joe Yeoman. This next song I'll do is called For the Night. I forgot to plug a show earlier. We're going to be at the Dell Ranch over in Smith Station, Alabama, November 9th and 10th. You can see me and the whole band. Come on out and have a good time. We're gonna kick it and have some rock and country. So, again, the name of this one is For the Night. Get up early and I hit the road. Set my shoulders for that heavy load. I make my living working hard all day, but come quitting time, I'm ready to play. Boss man says, son, something's changed. Don't know what it is, but you just ain't the same. I said, I know it came without warning. My baby loving Lord, she really puts it on me. We keep living our life from dusk to daylight. We keep living our life for the night. Five o'clock, that whistle blow. I'm tearing up that two-lane, Lord, I'm heading home. They're waiting to rush into my arms. It's a woman that loves me with all of her heart. We keep living our life from dusk to daylight. We keep living our life for the night. We keep living our life from dusk to daylight. We keep living our life for the night.